Hi, welcome to Free Spirit and welcome to a spirit message tip and a spirit exercise. This is what came out in the weekly for this week that I mentioned I would share it on the channel in case it was helpful. Also, because this was so eye-opening. So this is to feel more free, with new levels and more levels to freedom. So this is the spirit message tip and exercise that I literally did, that if you do it, you're gonna see that it's really amazing to feel more free with new levels and more levels to freedom. So this is an exploration. It's a spirit message tip exercise to do and think about and write it out to find out for yourself. This is for new levels to freedom, more levels to freedom. So it's so fitting we had the full major arcana come out, and usually it takes us a lot to get back to that full energy on the inside. It's not just taking new risks and getting out there, but the process of actually being a full again on the inside, able to believe in yourself, to follow your heart, to go out again in a fresh new way. You know, in the tarot, he has a very light little knapsack. He's not carrying the baggage of the past. This is literally to feel more free as we're getting back out there, to feel more free with new levels and more levels to freedom. So this is literally an exploration and a spirit message tip exercise. So to do this along with this video, to get a piece of paper and a pen, or open up your phone and start an email to yourself, and literally just write on the header, top of the page, 2 words: freedom 2, freedom 2, freedom 2, T-O, freedom 2. And I'm going to put this in the description box also, freedom 2. And underneath that header, finish that sentence. Just completely feel free to write down everything that comes up for you. It's not even really you thinking this. It is you just feeling this. Get it out on the page without filtering anything. Just automatically write everything and anything that comes through you. Freedom to, and finish the sentence over and over. Freedom to what? Freedom to what? Freedom to what? It will be very revealing to you that you have, at the end of this, new levels of freedom to explore. You have more levels of freedom than you may even have first realized. And each time you explore a new freedom, you will in fact feel more free. We are often the ones that are caging up small freedoms we already have without realizing. Those voices we carry with us can constrict how far you go sometimes. There are many, many freedoms you can start exercising and exploring. There are new levels to freedom, more levels to freedom. It's almost like you will feel at the end of this that it's you yourself are finally now granting you these freedoms. So an example of the exercise, say if I put freedom 2, I wrote down freedom to let go, freedom to move on, freedom to not care anymore, freedom to have fun, freedom to enjoy, freedom to relax, freedom to explore, freedom to try it, freedom to do it, freedom to escape, freedom to choose, freedom to go, freedom to express yourself, freedom to think differently, freedom to act differently, freedom to react differently, freedom to do differently. It just went on and on. Like, don't think about it, just it's almost like auto writing. Just automatically write down freedom 2. And what are your freedoms? What are your everyday little freedoms that you don't even think about, that you might not even realize or utilize enough? Or there could be an inner voice that kind of, once you do it and look at it, when you look at what you've written, we often, going back to what they said, there are voices we carry with us, whether it came from inside us or outside, and we carry with us now, that constrict how far you go sometimes. There are many, many freedoms you can start exercising and exploring in your everyday. There are new levels to freedom. There are more levels to freedom. So it's almost like you yourself are finally now granting you these freedoms. So that's what they're saying. There are new levels to freedom that can make the difference you feel that you need right now. Sometimes we have a real restlessness. It's us holding us back from granting ourselves a small freedom we can do in the moment. Their new levels to freedom can make the difference you feel that you need right now. Breaking out into some new ways, out of some old ways. Feel more free with freedom itself. Granting yourself more freedom. Exploring new levels and more levels of freedom. This is all for feeling more free, as everything's freely making so much more noise right now. But it's all for feeling more free with new levels and more levels of freedom. And it's bringing to your awareness the new levels and more levels of freedom, that sometimes we just go through the motions, or we go through our day. We're not granting ourselves or recognizing the freedoms that we have, right? And so I read them off just very quickly what were some examples, but each one can go pretty deep, right? If you don't have the freedom, you don't remind yourself you have the freedom to let go, you have the freedom to move on, you have the freedom to not care anymore, you have the freedom to have fun, you have the freedom to enjoy, you have the freedom to relax, you have the freedom to explore, you have the freedom to do it, you have the freedom to try it, you have the freedom to escape, you have the freedom to choose, you have the freedom to go, you have the freedom to express yourself, you have the freedom to think differently, you have the freedom to act differently, you have the freedom to react differently, you have the freedom to do differently. You know, it was such an exploration in new levels and more levels of freedom, quite literally, to feel more free with new levels and more levels to freedom. So this was the spirit message, tip, and exercise. And then right after I got that, we did the weekly, and we had the major arcana of the Fool. And the Fool definitely has to feel more free. And this was all supporting for more progress, for the new things that we're doing, the new things that we're planting, the new things we want to manifest and create in our lives, that we can grant ourselves more freedom. And after everything we've been through, we're probably calling for more freedom in so many different ways. So this was to feel more free with new levels and more levels to freedom. The spirit message, tip, and exercise. I did it, and it's very easy to do. Like I said, you can email yourself, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and just put on the header, freedom 2, and underneath, just finish that sentence over and over and over and over again. Keep writing it out. Like, don't stop until you have at least 20 things. Just keep going, almost just not even thinking it, just let it come out of you. Freedom. What do you have freedom to do? Freedom. To do what? And just answer the questions to yourself, and you'll find that it's not the big freedoms that everybody's screaming about. We're talking about the little freedoms that we have, the total freedom to do and grant ourselves right this second where you're sitting. It's it's those freedoms that we're talking about. So this is all about new levels to freedom, and to feel more free with new levels and more levels to freedom, and almost seeing it, realizing it, and granting yourself that also. So I just found this very eye-opening, and just very eye-opening, the new levels and more levels of freedom that we can grant ourselves. And so that was the spirit tip message exercise that came up in the weekly that I wanted to elaborate on and share a little bit more also. All right, take care. Bye-bye.